In the year 1892, a unique establishment opened its doors near Montmartre in Paris, introducing a novel concept to the city's nightlife. Antonin Alexander, a former literature professor, was the creator and host of this venture, the Cabaret de l'Enfer, or Cabaret of Hell. Its entrance on the Boulevard de Clichy was designed to startle, fashioned as the colossal maw of a beast, intended to evoke a sense of entering the underworld. During this period, Alexander also operated a companion venue at the same address, the Cabaret du Ciel, offering a contrasting theme centered around the heavens. These twin establishments quickly became fixtures of the Belle Époque Parisian scene. Contemporary writers took note. Jules Clarity remarked that future historians studying the era's customs could not silently pass by these cabarets. He felt they brought Dante's Inferno and Paradiso within easy reach of Parisians. Georges Renault and Henry Chateau described the adjacent entrances of Le Ciel and l'Enfer, gaping wide open all in a row, as simply spectacular. The facade of l'Enfer itself was later characterized as a stucco ode to female nudity being devoured by infernal flames. Situated at the foot of Montmartre Hill in the 18th arrondissement, the Cabaret de l'Enfer functioned as an early example of a themed entertainment space. Its primary draw was its immersive atmosphere, although café singers did perform occasionally. In 1895, merely 3 years after its debut at No. 34 Boulevard de Clichy, Antonin relocated the operation further down the street to No. 53. The Cabaret de l'Enfer would remain at this new address for over 50 years. Subsequently, the original location at No. 34 was acquired by competitors. The illusionist Dorval and his administrator, Roger, transformed it into the Cabaret du Neant, the Cabaret of the Void, specializing in macabre performances themed around death and the afterlife. As events unfolded, the three cabarets developed distinct niches. The Cabaret du Ciel focused on mystical illusions, the Cabaret du Neant presented invocations of what lies beyond the grave, and the Cabaret de l'Enfer featured magic tricks within its infernal setting. Jules Clarity observed that the illusions presented in Ciel and Enfer were not fundamentally different from fairground attractions of the time, employing mirrors and clever lighting effects. However, the addition of organ music lent an air of mystery to the proceedings. Despite the hellish theme, the atmosphere inside l'Enfer was generally jovial. Antonin Alexander set the tone, often delivering humorous monologues dressed either as Saint Peter for the Cabaret du Ciel or as Mephistopheles for the Cabaret de l'Enfer. Patrons entering the Cabaret de l'Enfer were met by a doorman costumed as the devil, who would greet them with the declaration, "Enter and be damned." Inside, the infernal theme continued with waiters attired in devil costumes serving the guests. The unique ambience extended to the way orders were handled. A visitor in 1899 recounted how an order for 3 black coffees spiked with cognac was theatrically called out to the barman as 3 seething bumpers of molten sins with a dash of brimstone intensifier. Performances formed the core of the cabaret's appeal. Dancers, singers, and variety acts presented spectacles aligned with the themes of temptation and damnation, their costumes reflecting the infernal setting. The acts themselves varied, sometimes sensuous, sometimes grotesque, often testing the limits of contemporary social norms. The audience, composed of both Parisians and curious tourists, delighted in the provocative and decadent atmosphere, embracing the unique blend of scandal and spectacle. Throughout the era, the Cabaret de l'Enfer provided a space where fantasy and forbidden ideas could be explored through entertainment. It remained a notorious landmark on the Boulevard de Clichy for decades. Its existence, however, concluded a few years after the liberation of Paris in 1944. The Monoprix supermarket, which had been its neighbor since 1934, acquired both the Cabaret de l'Enfer and the Cabaret du Ciel around the year 1950. The interiors of both cabarets were completely removed as the supermarket expanded. The distinctive facades were demolished and replaced by a modern store entrance. By 1950, any physical trace of the Cabaret de l'Enfer had vanished from the Boulevard de Clichy. Today, the physical space occupied by the Cabaret de l'Enfer houses a Monoprix supermarket, its entrance standing approximately where the gateway to damnation once beckoned Parisians and tourists. The structure itself bears no resemblance to the elaborate stucco facade, that defined the cabaret for over half a century. Yet, despite the complete erasure of its physical presence, the memory of the Cabaret de l'Enfer persists in historical accounts and cultural studies of the Belle Époque. It serves as a potent example of the era's fascination with spectacle, transgression, and the macabre. Antonin Alexander's creation was more than just a drinking establishment. It represented an early foray into fully immersive themed environments. The concept of transporting patrons into a completely different world, be it heaven or hell, was groundbreaking for its time. During this period, Montmartre pulsed with artistic energy and bohemian life, hosting numerous cabarets and performance venues like the Moulin Rouge and Le Chat Noir. The Cabaret de l'Enfer, alongside its celestial twin, carved out a unique niche within that vibrant landscape through its explicit thematic dichotomy. The appeal lay in its audacity, the playful embrace of infernal imagery, the costumed staff, the theatrical language, and the performances that blurred lines between entertainment and provocation. It offered a contained, commercialized brush with the forbidden. Subsequently, the cabaret's influence can be traced in the development of themed attractions and restaurants globally. The idea of creating a complete sensory experience around a specific concept owes a debt to pioneers like Alexander. The eventual purchase and demolition by the Monoprix supermarket in the mid-20th century marked the end of an era. The post-war period brought different tastes and economic realities, leading to the disappearance of many such unique Belle Époque establishments. The Cabaret de l'Enfer remains a fascinating historical footnote, embodying the spirit of Parisian entertainment at the turn of the 20th century, a blend of artistry, commerce, shock value, and a unique, darkly humorous charm. Its story reflects the transient nature of cultural landmarks and the changing face of urban entertainment. The persistence of the Cabaret de l'Enfer for nearly 60 years, spanning from the late 19th century well into the mid-20th century, is noteworthy. It weathered significant historical upheavals, including the First World War, adapting its particular brand of entertainment across different social climates. During this extended period, the cabaret maintained its core identity. The juxtaposition of infernal decor and light-hearted, illusion-based entertainment remained its central draw, appealing to successive generations seeking novelty and escapism. Antonin Alexander's role as host, shifting between celestial and infernal personas, was crucial in mediating the potentially unsettling theme. His background as a literature professor likely informed the witty, theatrical pronouncements attributed to him and his staff. The cabaret thrived in an era marked by widespread interest in spiritualism, the afterlife, and spectacles that tested the boundaries of perception. Establishments like l'Enfer, Seal, and Neant tapped into public curiosity about the unseen and the uncanny, albeit in a commercialized, theatrical manner. While specific details of every act performed over its long history are scarce, reports consistently mention illusionist techniques common to stage magic of the time. Mirrors, lighting effects, and perhaps early projection methods were likely employed to create the desired atmosphere and effects. The establishment's longevity suggests a successful formula, blending shocking aesthetics with accessible, non-threatening entertainment. It offered a simulated journey into damnation that ultimately proved amusing rather than genuinely disturbing for most patrons. Its final years leading up to the closure around 1950 occurred in a vastly changed Paris. The experiences of World War II and the subsequent austerity likely altered public appetites and the economic viability of such elaborate, specialized venues. The Cabaret de l'Enfer stands as a testament to a specific moment in Parisian cultural history, a time when entertainment venues dared to be extraordinarily imaginative and provocative, creating immersive worlds long before the term became commonplace. The location of the Cabaret de l'Enfer at the foot of Montmartre placed it directly within Paris's most famous district for bohemian culture and nightlife during the Belle Époque. Artists, writers, performers, and thrill-seekers flocked to the area's numerous cafes, dance halls, and cabarets. Yet, while venues like the nearby Moulin Rouge focused on lavish dance spectacles, and Le Chat Noir cultivated an air of avant-garde artistic irony, l'Enfer offered something distinct. Its appeal was rooted squarely in its overt, high-concept theme derived from religious cosmology. Choosing hell as a theme was inherently provocative in the predominantly Catholic France of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. It played with concepts of sin, damnation, and the supernatural, repackaging them as commercial entertainment. This blend of the sacred and the profane, the terrifying and the amusing, attracted a diverse clientele. Accounts suggest it drew not only adventurous tourists, but also members of the Parisian middle class seeking novel diversions, alongside elements of the artistic community. The cabaret skillfully balanced its potentially shocking theme with a generally light-hearted execution. The infernal trappings provided the spectacle, while the actual performances, primarily illusions and humorous monologues, ensured patrons left amused rather than genuinely disturbed. During this period, Paris was a city embracing modernity, technological marvels, and new forms of mass entertainment. The Cabaret de l'Enfer, with its theatricality and manufactured thrills, perfectly captured a certain fin-de-cycle desire for escapism and sensational experiences. It offered a safe, controlled glimpse into a fantastical underworld,